top 5 announcement webinar where we go through the top 5 reports. And one of the most important things that I wanted to also cover in the beginning is, as you've noticed from your screens, is right there's more than me and Federico. We also have a guest judge. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Paula. Paula, a little bit about yourself.
Hello, and well, thank you for hosting me or inviting me to this session. A little bit about myself. Well, I'm from Spain. Now I'm talking from Portugal, from Lisbon. About my background, I'm a telecommunications engineer, and but I've never worked as a telecommunications engineer because I started working in the digital marketing field. Let's call it that way. And nowadays, well, I start developing my professional career into that, but always close to Microsoft technologies. And well, the life and the data analysis comes to my life, I guess. And I start, well, developing this path in the data analytics side, but especially in data visualization, in how companies adopt data strategy, AI projects, and how everything is connected. So I usually explain that my role connects or is the liaison between the business side and the people that it's in front of the display and the data and how we get value from data. Right now, I'm freelancer, and my consider or well, my tag is data visualization specialist and artificial intelligence specialist. I have courses in LinkedIn Learning, so you can find my courses about artificial intelligence and also visualization with Power BI in the LinkedIn Learning platform, but in the library of Spanish, and some of them are translated in Portuguese, by the way. And well, I usually share contents in about data visualization, novelties in Power BI. I'm a Power BI Core Visual Community Representative, so I work with the development team in creating these new core visuals, improving them, and what more I can say? Well, I am a creative person. I mix everything I know from life. I'm also into music. I have two bands, and well, I love languages. I love cultures, knowing new people, and I always try to connect everything in every project, and also in the trainings I prepare. So yeah, it's maybe a different approach of data visualization, and hopefully I can provide my views and my understanding of things here with you in this webinar.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, hearing your background, you're already bringing a lot to the table, right, Federico? I mean, people are kind of used to hearing from us. A fresh perspective is always more than welcome.
I mean, I know quite a lot of the MVPs. Okay, I have a very good relationship with them. I had the pleasure to be
I am
with
an
Paul.
MVP. Sorry, I didn't say that.
Oh, I am also an MVP.
Okay, yeah, guys. Okay, thanks for making me feel great because I'm not an MVP.
um,
You
and I
see, it's not
have
part of my presentation. The way I introduced myself, I forgot to say it.
and I had the pleasure to work with a little bit in the core visual teams with Miguel Myers, and she also do LinkedIn courses.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you look for courses in Spanish, you will see Paula Esteban there. Um, she is probably one of the not many that deal with data visualization, accessibility issues. And I remember watching a webinar when she was defending the color palette for people with eye problem. I don't know, I can't remember. And I was on my rebel time. I said, I'm not changing my color palette for nobody. Okay. And now if I have to change it, I will change it. Okay. And but kind of we are on the same background with data visualization, taking user experience to the next point. So yeah, she doesn't need to know, but she's one of my favorites. Nobody tell her, please.
I do not listen.
Paula, put the mic a little bit farther from your mouth. There is an echo from a little bit down. I there.
Okay,
There is a
better,
bio echo. A
better
ver,
now.
talk.
Hola,
Yes.
hola. Hola, sí.
Yeah.
Hola.
Bienvenidos.
Fantastic.
Hola. Okay, perfect.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. As you can see, we're expanding, always bringing in new people, so you can also hear different opinions. And I think it's very important because, like we've always said, right, the feedback that you get here, one thing you have to understand is different audiences are always going to require different solutions. Something that I see working very well in my experience and for the audience that I'm catering the reports to might not work for your audience. And that's one of the difficult things about being a report developer, I think, is first of all understanding who's going to be your actual target audience. Once you understand that, who's going to be using it, how they're going to be using it, that affects how you're building the report as well, because you have to think about, okay, what sort of visuals I'm going to be using, what sort of layout I'm going to be using here. Is this report going to be visible just as, for example, in a lobby, just sitting there as an invitational showing today's stats or something, or is it going to be an interactive report? There's a lot of things you have to consider, and that's why knowing we're hearing a lot of different feedback, and the most important part, different, is very crucial because it helps you to think also differently about the solutions that you build. But enough about that. What we're here to do today is, remember, talking about the top five. So what we're going to be doing is going to the top five reports. We're going to be giving you our honest opinion on what we think about it, what we think has been done excellently, what we think might be improved upon. Because trust me, it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned professional or if you're just starting off, every single report can be improved. Like I said, there's different views, different perspectives, so people notice different things. Something that I can easily miss, for example, I know that Paul is going to be looking, yeah, it should have been done differently. And that's fine. The main thing is just listen to that feedback. You don't have to necessarily implement it straight away, but listen to it. Think about it, how it could be beneficial to you as well. And whilst we're talking about those reports, we're also going to be giving you that feedback on what we think could be improved and how it could be improved. That's the most important thing. At the very end, we're going to have a Q&A session. And of course, the most important thing is we're going to be also announcing who's the winner. So the top five that we're going to be going through is, of course, going to be in random order. Otherwise, kind of breaking the suspense and going through them, and then afterwards, oh yeah, so we went through the top five, and now the winner is, well, you would kind of know. This way, you don't know, keeping that little bit of suspense. So, yeah, right, a little bit of drum roll. That's mandatory. All right. So if
Let's
everybody's
go.
ready, Federico, Paula, ready?
Really?
Yeah.
All good. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna take control of the screen. I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna go to the first submission that has gotten itself into the top five. So remember, guys, this is the monthly challenge. Most importantly, this is happening every single month. So every single month, you have a chance to participate and showcase what you can do with the Power BI. So the first report that has gotten itself into the top five comes from Andreas. So congratulations, Andreas, in getting into the top five. Now let's take a closer look at the report and see what we think about it. So for this one, Federico, if you don't mind, I'm gonna quickly run through
Yes,
a few things.
go
Yep,
ahead. Go ahead.
perfect. So for me, the first and foremost is it's something that can be easily missed, but there's a reason why I'm going to talk about this. Every single time you build a report, try to get to that stage where you have a published version of the report. And there's a reason behind it. When you're looking at when you're building a report on a Power BI desktop, you're most of the time using the fit to page option, right? Where it just scales according to how many panels you have on the sides and everything. And in this case, what you can see, for example, is because my guess is, first of all, you were creating the report on a larger screen, not a typical laptop screen, but an actual external monitor. You can see that the primary titles are okay. I can still read through them. But starting to go to the second level titles, these titles just seem a little bit too small. If they don't have bold, I can kind of read through them, but as soon as you add bold on top of it, things start to feel like they're getting condensed together a bit too much. So it becomes kind of hard to go through it, read it, and fully grasp the situation. It's not a hard fix. You can do it in a few seconds, but this is the reason why you look at your report in different environments. And one thing that I can definitely tell you guys as well is remember, when you submit your reports and you get that published to web link, spend the extra 5 minutes, open the report, and actually play around with it on that published version. Because sometimes you see things and be like, why did I do that? Sometimes it just helps you to take a closer look at it again. But yeah, that's a very small comment. It's just the first thing that I notice, because whenever I look at the numbers, yeah, everything's good. But as soon as I have to start to read the titles and everything, I kind of have to be like this. Okay, that's that. Okay, yeah, okay, that's that. So it's just a small little thing. But what I like about this is that you have actually paid attention to, for example, when you're starting off, you can see previous year comparisons. They're not showing anything. That's because there are multiple years currently selected. So you're forcing the user to kind of go for a single year selection, and then you're starting to compare the years. That's a good thing. However, one thing you overlooked is slicers have the capability of multi-select. So as soon as I do this, I kind of break the calculation, because now it's multiple years versus 1 year, and it's confusing to the user. So always play around with your slicers. I know I took away your thing, Federico. I know, but
That's
I
okay.
noticed it. Other than that, what I like about this, first and foremost, is I think it's very clean. I don't feel like it's too overcrowded. Sure, there are multiple visuals available, right? But everything kind of feels that it's sitting in a place where it's supposed to be. At least for me, that's how I feel about it. So on the design aspect, there's definitely kudos to you. You have managed to play around also with the info overlays, which I think are great because it allows you to explain to the user how to interact, for example, or what is available on the page. And these ones are very important, especially if you're starting off with Power BI. Once users are kind of used to Power BI and the way it works, they know what to expect from it. But if an audience is newer, they don't really know what even to expect from it. So informational overlays are very beneficial in a lot of cases. From the visual perspective itself, I like the fact that you have actually taken the time and played around with different dimensions, and that selecting these dimensions don't break everything else on the report, right? Always pay attention to that as well. The only thing that I would probably only do on the overview page to kind of quickly adjust it would be on the map. There's a property called max clustering distance. Not sorry, not max clustering distance, but just clustering distance. And I would increase it just so there's not an overlap between these two. Just a very small, again, thing, but since I play with these visuals every single day for 7 years now, I notice these things. That's my kind of pro and con at the same time. But yeah, other than that, the overview page I think is great, and I think that the details page kind of follows what it's supposed to be, right? You're going into more detailed analysis. You're using typical visuals which are on details analysis, and that is our beloved table. Trust me, as much as you want to get away from a table, you cannot run away from it. You can hide it in few pages, but at some point in the report, it's gonna come out. So it's good that you put it in a page that it kind of encompasses the detailed aspect of it. So yeah, from my side, that's it. I think it's a very good job. So congratulations again. And Federico, any comments from your side?
Yes, please. I'm gonna go to you just hover over any of the titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see they are too close to the edge,
Hmm.
okay, of the frame. Andrea, 10, 16 pixel all around, okay, and we'll bring it down and in a proper position in the within that square. Okay, it's user friendly. Okay, and I give it this sense of to be in a proper box. Okay, don't let them too close to the border of the object. As you mentioned, yes, I can hardly read by weather during transaction and event. I can read it, but I have a 32 inches okay screen. If I am in my laptop, most probably won't be able to read it. Um, yes, yes, always, guys, and that's something that a friend of mine, Gustav, told me. Always get a single year, okay, or put one selected. Otherwise, people don't know why okay, that measure is broken. People think I broke it, something is wrong. Okay, you are not telling them choose your pick a year. Okay, so remember, just select a year for the end. In the title, select your, or in the subtitle, select a year. Okay,
Hmm.
and then if I go to details, can you go to the second
Yeah,
page?
absolutely.
The tables. As Aivis says, and I build quite a lot of tables of late. and they are necessary. The one at the top for me is too much information with the star, the bars, and everything. It's a bit too much for me, but that is my personal opinion. I prefer to have a very clear table. If you look at my table in my report, you will see that they are very, very, very clear. They have not much, a little bit of conditional formatting when it is important, and that's it. Okay, so in my view, that is too much information. It's whoa into my eyes. And then you have put us within the donut share some revenue 165. In the other one, you also have another measure, but the one on the right, you let it empty, put little thing. Why didn't you put another measure there? Yeah. It's like, oh, you abandoned me. Okay. We keep the harmony. Okay. If we decide to go for one, we have to go almost for all of them in the same. Apart from that, I love the contrast that dark blue with this pink. I don't know what color you can call that, pink, salmon, color. That's just how he plays. So well done, Andrea. Nice report.
Can I add something?
Yeah, yeah, of
Because
course.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with the contrast thing, but I want to highlight one positive thing, and it's using this black or high contrast mode. Sometimes it's not easy to find the colors that let the user read correctly everything. And one thing you do perfect is to create this hierarchical view of elements, like the main title is the most white title, even if it's not white. Then you have the subtitle in another mattice of color
Hmm.
that lets you understand easily. That is the second thing you have to read. But then when you focus on the back and interaction in the zoom in, zoom out, back elements, to me they don't contrast enough.
Okay.
Maybe you can find a better way to include it. So in general, contrast good, election of color good, but the labels are small, and the colors maybe can contrast a little bit if you want to allow people to really read them. So this is a point that maybe we can like discuss a little bit more. But yeah, in general, I like it.
No, no,
I, I,
it's all good. Like we always say, that's the thing about having different opinions, and it's good because it also, whenever somebody says something, you're like, okay, I get what you say by it now, right? Because previously you just didn't think about it that much. So,
And then about tables, maybe you
mhm,
can
yeah, of course.
uh, differentiate a little bit lines, because to me, for
yeah.
example, in my screen, that it's also a factor of testing things in other displays, etc. But if you read the first line, for example, it's easy because you have the reference. But if you are in the middle, if you are in the 650 54,
Yeah.
you go and you need to use the mouse or something, because or click, but it's not easy to read the when you cross the average customer satisfaction. It's easy to go up or down and do not follow. So maybe a contrast in the lines or giving more space between the table itself, something there that allows
Mhm.
Yeah.
the users to read properly in the single line.
I use the gap between you go to auction, you go grid, and you can say one, two, or three to give you some separation. That's what I do. That's what I like. But I fully agree with you. It's too close. You can lose the
Hmm.
row.
Yeah, there are minimum improvements you
Yeah,
can
and
do.
that's the thing, because sometimes
That
you
will
don't really
make a
have to
report
rework
better.
everything. You
Mm.
just have to do tiny little adjustments, and that's what makes most of the difference. But those tiny little adjustments are the annoying ones, because you have to figure out, okay, do I do it slightly to the right or
Mhm.
slightly to the left, right?
And the spending time on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, Andrea, congratulations to you for getting into the
Well done.
top five. It's really an amazing report, so kudos to you. All right, the next submission that has gotten itself into the top five is coming from. I see the report, but I forgot I had it open. So from Agbada Dixonocloyo, congratulations to you. So for this one, let's open it up. Let's take a closer look. And for this one, I'm actually gonna ask Paula and Federico to tell what they think about it.
Paula, you wanna go first, please?
Up to you. I can start, of course.
Please.
Okay. Well, first comment would be similar to that one Aivis did in the previous one, and it's when you see the metrics year over year, you don't see anything. So I guess that pressing into the filter and selecting 1 year, it will work. Let's see. Okay, now we see the increase. That's something we can like make
Hmm.
as something default in the dashboard. Then, in general, I like when things are under a proper structure, giving the same space between all the elements because it creates a calm environment for the user and this feeling of app. Okay, so
Hmm.
it's something we are familiar and allow us as developers to create an environment that is peaceful for the user when entering a designer. That's good, and it also helps to do not overload our brain. Like we have a certain capacity, so we don't spend that energy on feeling comfortable in the dashboard. That's good. About the colors, I like them in a stylish thing, but I don't know if they're the best options because some of them are very close to the background. The deep purple we have here, it's very close to the background itself. So, and then if you interact, sometimes you lose this feeling on what you're seeing and highlighting. So I prefer to use colors that are more opposite in the chromatic color
Yeah.
because they allow the user to understand the differences between one category and the other. So that's something that can be improved. But in an aesthetical analysis, I like it. It's just well, what we're doing, beautiful things or practical things that let us to categorize and understand what we are showing. That's something that can be improved again. And in general, the spaces between the titles and how everything is aligned, I prefer to put it a little bit more space between the title and subtitle and the square we have. Okay, just where you have the mouse right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
And for this page would be like the main comments I have. I think the green you have choose for the label in the cards. It's okay because it's brighter and you can read it perfectly, allowing you the user to understand with this triangle. It's a good KPI, so that's something I want to highlight too.
Hmm.
Mm, everything is easy to read, especially the KPIs are like boom. I like that in reports. And I don't know, Federico, what do you add?
Yep, sure. Let's go to overview. As I mentioned before, and Paula mentioned it, again, the title is too close to the edge, to the border of the object. Okay? Remember, guys, that's the little things, okay, that make or break a report. And I remember telling that to one of my ambassadors because he had or she had the same mistake. Use the pixel, okay? And believe me, you have the space 16 on one side, 16 top and bottom, or 10, were fantastic. And I don't know if you click on the any of the color of the pie chart, please, or the donut chart.
Yep. Let's reset. Select one. All right. When you try to interact with too many things at the same time, right? We all fallen into that, and that's what I do in this
Okay,
case.
that will do. I don't know
Yep.
why, but in my screen, oh no, yes, it's in
Yeah,
your
yeah, it
too.
does.
Why you decide to color the KPI with the same color the chosen donut? It's purple now. The KPI I can see the KPI is in purple. Okay, and only that, and then you click the salmon color, and they go to salmon. Okay,
Yeah.
it's quite distracting. It's too much. Okay, and remember the KPIs, they are big because they are big numbers. Okay, that's the thing they need to count into your eye. You don't actually dress them in different color. They stay white or they stay black. Okay, the year over year or the variation, yes, you can give them color. It's necessary. It go up or it go down. But the main KPI is go white or go black or one color. Um, I'm gonna agree with Paula too on the some of the colors and the background are very similar. And get rid of the drill down. Don't drill down. Go back to the there. You have the same color palette on the column, stack column, and a star bar chart, top right and bottom, and then you have different color palette on the left. So you have salmon, purple, dark purple, and then you have purple, bluish, purple, and black. Um, there is no contrast. There is no harmony. Okay, it has to be harmony between the colors. Apart from that, I think it's a fantastic report. Again, yeah, give me a year. Yes, I want to see a year. I want to see those beautiful KPI, these colors, the green, the arrows. Okay, that allow me to play a little bit more with it. Apart from that, I think fantastic. Go to a product.
Yep.
I don't know what the diamonds are doing there. Being honest, I think there is an unnecessary nicety. They don't do anything. It might be an icon, but they're almost overlapping on the percentages number. On top of them, they don't do nothing. They are not telling me much. I can't read the information. Okay, -1, 7, 25. You are telling me that. Okay, and nonetheless, you're at top 5. So congratulations. Well done. Excellent report.
Yeah, definitely. From my side, there are just a few things very quickly. So in this case, what you were trying to do is knowing the chart customization that's behind it. You were using the lines, removing the line and keeping the markers, and the markers can be conditionally formatted. What I would have done is I would just format the labels itself, because the diamonds, they kind of take away a little bit of the space and it starts to feel a little bit overcrowded. And the other issue that you fall into because of this is that the legend marker is taking a color from one of the original points. So it kind of feels weird that you're looking at it and it says year over year sales, which is supposed to be red, but then only 2 points are red. So what are these green ones? They're showing something that I don't know. So I would just keep it in a neutral color. I don't know, you put it in one of the purple colors or something, and then have the labels just have showcase the increase or decrease in comparison to the previous year, right? That's what I would have done there. On the overview, Federico already mentioned this. I fully understand why you did this, but the biggest issue with this is that some of these colors, what already Paula mentioned, they're very close to the original background color. So one thing you always have to be cautious about is, even though on your screen it might seem like it's kind of close, but it's okay. Don't forget that the screen settings can change this drastically. The brightness, the contrast, and everything, once you set it up, for somebody when they look at this, they might be like, what do you mean numbers? There's just nothing there, basically. And that's one thing you have to be very cautious about. That's whenever you're thinking about colors, always try to do a contrasting color, basically from the other side of the wheel, so that it fully is visible in all the setups that you have there. Sure, there's a little bit of stylishness that you can apply to it, but that's why you think about sort of the middle ground between these two, right? It's very tricky. I totally get it, but it's the name of the job. Not everything is going to be easy, right? For those of you who started Power BI, at first, whenever you load it in the data, it's very quickly. Get in an Excel, that's all good. Once you get into the data cleaning, you're like, never want to touch this again.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the
No,
reality.
there are a couple of tools they check for content. You take a
Yeah,
screenshot of the report and you put it in there, and it will tell you triple A is good, double A is not that good, A is not that good, and you can play around that. And Go,
And
Paul.
one more thing, contrast and also consistency. And it's another thing I've seen
Yep.
now. The question marks you use for providing information, contextual information that are great because you have different places in the different spaces, but sometimes are in orange. It seems to be orange, and other times are in gray or a soft
Yeah.
purple, and then the others in the top corner are
Mhm.
in white because they are bigger. Okay, makes sense to make this little difference, but maybe we are doing this with the size of the question mark. So keep it like more standard. It really helps to standardize things in the report for the users to understand where to find the button they are looking for. Like going smoothly and at the same time improve the graphical environment in general. So that's something that can be also improved.
Yep. For this one, I'm gonna take the blame because the reason why this is orange and this is gray is because this is an element from our visuals, and this is just indicating that the trial is about to expire. So
Uh,
this is on us. But it's a very good point.
yeah, well, now you focus your attention because the trial is
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
guys,
yeah,
we need
So
to
if it was
move.
the decision, sorry.
absolutely.
We
All
have
right.
3 report more to go. We need to
Yeah,
move.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. All right. So the next report that has gotten into the top five comes from uh, this author right here. So I'm gonna quickly open up the report and go through it. So from my perspective, there's one thing that I absolutely love about this report, and that is that whenever I look at it, it just feels clean. Sure, there are icons and everything, but it feels clean, right? And that's how I feel about it. The one other thing that I like about it is that instead of just playing around with, for example, like a donut chart to select a category, you actually did this. And I saw your post as well where you referenced who you took the idea from. But this is basically a switch for the entire category in the entire report. I think it's a very nice touch to kind of define that these are the primary three things that we're going to be focusing, those three different dimensions, whether it's the Black Friday, Christmas, or regular event, and you're kind of controlling things through that, and you're following also the color palette, which is great. At the same time, always be cautious about this, and maybe Federico already found this or not, but I did. If you select Black Friday and you deselect Black Friday, you kind of break everything. So be careful whenever you have this sort of interaction between them. What I probably would have done is maybe just disable the interactions in this sort of area so they're not contradicting with each other. But, you know, then again, I do understand that sometimes it's just tricky. I get it. It's fine. That's why we're going through these and looking at some of the things. But I like that you actually played around with not just a very basic setup, but you also played around with icons, you played around with different metals. You made the report seem playful, right? And it kind of makes me, or it's sort of inviting me to play around with it. And that's what I felt with it. So I really like the report on that sense. I like the style on what you did for the navigation. I think it's very clean. You have a specific segment where you have the navigation, and then you have other additional elements like filters that you can open up and apply if you want to. You have your reset buttons, your guided tour if it's needed to, and so forth. So in that sense, I really like that you added this cap because most of the time what I see is people forget that they're similar because they're buttons, but yet they do very different things, right? One is navigation, one is sort of additional things that you can do. So separating them is very, very nicely done. And then you have these field parameters that allow you to switch between the metrics. So overall, I'd say I just feel that it's very simple and yet the communication is effective. You're keeping the same style across all the pages. So sure, few nuances or differences, but the overall layout of things is exactly the same. So I kind of know where to expect to see certain things. So yeah, that's a quick overview of this one. Paula, your thoughts?
Agree. It's very very clean, and I like the way he has suggest the interaction, like in the different pages, overview, purchases, operations,
Mhm.
and then the capacity of select the transactions or sales volume or sales, and also if you go to the bar chart, You see the year, the quarter, the month. So it's a very intuitive way of navigating through the report. That's great. One thing about the difference in the menus, it's that maybe, and it's just an option, maybe I will not mix taxonomies or differentiate taxonomies. I will explain what it
Hmm.
is. Because here you are putting, I mean, you're doing this, you want to be visible for the users, for the people that see this report, this beautiful report. But maybe I want to mix LinkedIn or portfolio with guide, research, filter. Maybe the interactions elements should be different than the main pages. And that's something tricky because it's good because you have to differentiate these two parts of the
Hmm.
menu. But again, maybe this can be or smaller or less important in the this hierarchical feeling of the buttons. But just a little comment about this. And in general, yeah, it's good. I love this report.
I just very quickly.
Go ahead.
I love with all the little tricks and the flags and the numbers and the rain, the sun and the snowflake. My friend, you got a 10 from me on details. That take time. You had to get the
Yeah,
icon. You had to convert in base 64. You had to put in a table. You got a 10 from me on that. On cleanliness, how clean and simple it is. Uh, Fantastic report. You got a 10 from me on this one.
absolutely. The only other thing that I think kind of confused me at first when I was going through it is whenever you use these switches, right? Years, get it, cool. Quarters, get it, cool. Months, suddenly you see a ribbon chart. So my first question, why did we just switch?
Yeah.
It's a small thing. I understand from a story perspective because I think ribbon chart kind of works a little bit better in this case because it helps you to understand what's at the top. But at the same time, then I would just say, well, keep the same approach everywhere. So either go one way or the other, or convert these into stack charts. But that final switch at the end just felt like I was not expecting that. I'll be honest.
That was the surprise.
Yeah,
Dang.
it's a hidden Easter egg. He's just checking if we actually saw the report, right? And we're just not looking at it for the first time. But yeah, that was one of the things that I noticed, and I was like, okay, sure, but why? But other than that, I think it's a
It's a
very
very
well
good.
made job. I think it's clean. It's nice to be played around, and this just shows that, for example, where you've probably seen this also on LinkedIn from time to time. There's always some sort of questionnaire. So which one do you prefer, the light theme or the dark theme? I'd say it just depends on the time of the day and my mood at that point of time. Sometimes I prefer the dark theme, sometimes I prefer the light theme. Like my default theme for PC is a dark theme. For reports, sometimes it's just easier to look at things when everything is light, right? It's a personal preference always.
I see it's so clean. I want to print it off and make a T-shirt with that in my chair. It's so clean.
Yeah,
It's an excellent piece of work. Let's go.
absolutely.
Next one.
All right. The next one that has gotten into the top 5 comes from Akhilesh Road. So congratulations, Akhilesh, in getting into the top 5. Let's open it up and take a closer look at it. So for me, when I first opened it up, the first thing that I noticed, and this is a very quick fix, and this is actually not just a new report, I only just remembered because this is where I first noticed it. And that is that whenever you convert the numbers into something, make sure you adjust the formatting of it. Even though it is kind of easy still to read at 30,000. Imagine if this would go into hundreds of thousands or millions. If you don't have the thousand separators, it becomes visually hard for a person to distinguish the numbers. Unless you're using some shortening like K or M or whatever, right? If you use the full numbers, because I sometimes do it as well, I feel like sometimes it just gives a better story. So in those cases, make sure you have a thousand separator. It's a very small little thing, but it makes a lot of difference. So that's one thing. The other thing is, and Federico is going to be proud of me, right? Because I found a way to break the report in a single click. What you're doing here is you're pre-selecting a year, which is what we recommended before, right? Because
Oh,
you're forcing the user to look at a year, but then you have a time chart. So what's my natural feeling? Oh, cool, I can select multiple years. I select 2021. No, you cannot. And it's a very easy fix. The way you fix it is you go to this visual and you just say that it's not filtering anything outside of it. That's why you have this tool right here. Or remove this and only leave the timeline. But then you have to figure out how to pre-select the year. So it is tricky. Trust me, where we work with visuals every single day. It's always tricky. It's never straightforward. But these are the things that you play around and try to find and understand it. This is also one of the reasons why we always tell you that whenever you build a report, give it to somebody to play around with who has no idea what you're doing with it, right? Because they're gonna break it. Trust me. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. They're gonna find a way, a combination that you never thought about, and it's gonna just all go crazy. So it's a very small, quick fix, but you can easily do it. Other than that, I like the fact that you actually played around with the cards. They have a distinguished little line at the side to kind of indicate the overall status, even if I didn't see the small numbers at first, right? So it kind of indicates what's the overall situation there. The cards are actually a different selection, so that's a parameter, I'm guessing, that allows you to switch between the numbers that you're seeing here. But at the same time, if you deselect the card that you already selected, which means that for those of you who have used slicers, deselecting everything means you're basically allowing everything. You now have every single metric in the timeline. And some of these metrics go into millions, some of them go into just a couple of thousands. So the scale is not going to be relevant at that point. So these small little things is just something that allows you to play around with these. What else? If we go to the next page, the one thing that I absolutely loved about this report is this part right here. I think it's a different approach or different take on what you usually see, and the way on how it just transitions between years and everything. Like, it allows you to see, first of all, whether I'm doing okay in a particular category. So everything that has a check mark, I don't have to think about it. That's why you don't even show the number, which I think is a great approach. Everything that needs attention, you have a color scale. The only issue with this is I don't know the color scale sort of ranges. I don't know where it goes. But I can see that, okay, these require my attention, these requires my attention. Check marks, I'm all good, right? So I really like that approach. Visually, it's easy to understand, at least for me. What else? If we go back to this one, the charts showcasing you the bullets, and that's all good. If we go to the second page, if we were here, same principle, having the ability to drill down, to just control the chart, to select multiple areas and so forth. I think it just works all together very nicely. Those are my main things that I wanted to quickly cover. Um, Federico, Paula?
Paula, please.
I like this report. I will just mention that the menus are a little bit confusing to me.
Hmm.
uh, and the architecture of the navigation itself in the report, even if it's more like an exploratory report. But we have two main pages, then the Christmas, the non-Christmas button, then the offline, online, then the years. So maybe we can rearrange this a little bit and have a hierarchical um, way of showing this information instead of being clicking in one side, the other side, the other side. Then I don't know. This part to me, at the first impression, was difficult, a bit
Hmm.
confusing. And then about the pre-selected year, uh, I feel that maybe with a question to the business, to the real users, like if they are focused on analyzing a specific year, maybe they don't need the evolution, like
Hmm.
the change over time. So sometimes when we always have a time dimension, of course, but if we are focusing on the KPI and if we are increasing or decreasing versus the previous year, maybe we don't need this line chart anymore. So that's part of these prerequisites we need to really define with the users. And I have not a clue. I do no idea about what happened here, but we don't have to use always a line chart. It's just a
Hmm.
comment. So consider it, because sometimes we can like solve this problem about the pre-selected measure also avoiding this visual. And if they need it, they will ask for it, of course. Um,
Yeah.
Good job. I like it.
No, no. I the other day I posted a report, and it was finance. There were a number of years, and it was showing the 2 years. Okay, in the report. So, do I need a filter? That was my question. I spent an hour thinking about it. If I click 2023, I only see one column. Okay, or the column at the month, 12. But I
Hmm.
cannot compare between one and the other year. Okay, so I need to leave the two together. Do I need that filter or not? I actually put it on just because the client or whoever told me to put it on. But in my personal view, I would have not put that filter in because you want to see the 2022 and 2023 together. You were comparing those, and that was something very similar to what Paula said. And sometimes we can filter using the visuals. You don't
Hmm.
need a filter. You can use a visual to filter. So remember that. Icon guide. Okay, the hand with the dollar is like me asking for begging on the street. Please, spare chain, spare chain. Okay, you have to let me know what that means. And that is my wife telling me off because I did something wrong last week. Okay, she got the letter and blah, 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 blah. You have to let me know. You have to, don't think I understand what they mean. Okay, you have to let me know what they mean. Okay, remember that. Apart from that, another very clean report, well distributed, nice color, couple of minor issues, but congratulations to be in the top five.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the last report that has gotten itself into the top five, let's go to it. And it comes from Ugo Chukwu. Congratulations to you. So let's open it up and have a closer look at it. So for this one, maybe Paula and Federico, you want to take a closer look at it?
You want me to go, Paula, this time first?
Go, go, Federico. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I just love how clean most of the report have been. Oh, this guy have taken the data set and made a couple of extra dimensions. Okay, we got the business hour from AM to such, and then you have the baby boomer, the 25, 34-year millennials. Well done. That one we tell you can check the data set. You might be able to get a couple of extra dimensions that might give you the ability, okay, to portray displayed information in a different way.
Hmm.
Okay, that might attract a different kind of user. If I am baby boomer, that I know, God, I am a baby boomer. I am a baby boomer. Yeah. Okay. That is telling me my age range. The color palette is simple. You got this subtle purple and the massive white background. Do you know the 60-30-10 rule, guys? There is a color palette rule. It's called the 60-30-10. 60 is your main color, that is the white. The 30 is that purple, is the secondary color. And the 10% normally is for the KPI, the green, the red, the 60-30-10. Okay, there is a rule in design for that. Okay, check it out. Um, and you can see here represented. Okay, very well. And what else? Couple of spelling mistakes. Guys, you go average. Remember to check everything properly. There is average. ABG. You put it ABG will be even better.
Hmm.
Black color. Okay, I love it. Oh, I like that. There's another fan icon. The one at the corner, the brush or the broom.
Yep.
Okay, I never seen one of those. Okay, people can say something about it. I don't know if I'm using the toilet brush in there. Okay, but hey, a 10 for imagination. I love it. It's quite clean and easy to go. It's not. I cannot get lost
Mhm.
with that information. Okay, and that way I want to read the information easily. There are a couple of pages more. Follow the same pattern. The table perhaps too much conditional formatting. You only need a couple of columns to have the conditional formatting. The main column that is going to give you more information. Perhaps the one with the percentage, the return rate, that is the one I color. Okay, I leave everything else in black as it is, but that is me and nothing else. Very well done. I like it.
Very well done, of course. Very clean, easy to understand everything. I will repeat the thing about the contrast. Please be careful with the bar chart, and also again with the colors. And I like this ratio, that the ink color ratio that Federico mentioned in this rule. That's different, but almost the same feeling, that you need to like have a lot of white of the main color, etc. But if you go to the bar chart, you
Mhm.
see female that has a lot of contrast, so you can read good the numbers. But then you go to the blue and I honestly don't see the number,
Don't see
and
it.
if you go to the gray, so
Yeah.
that's something really important. Even if aesthetically I love it, but we need to read. I mean, we are analyzing data, so that's something can be improved. And well, I have a kind of I'm fixed with the order in layouts, and a bit more of alignment could be like the 10 to me in this report, because if you see the cards in the top
Yeah.
part of the report, they
Yeah.
are not aligned at all with just a little bit more pixels, and then this alignment could be
Oh
better.
yeah, there is
So
a
if
little
you,
Yeah,
bit of
yeah,
yeah.
please
Oh,
use grids. If you use a grid, it's very easy to attach everything and have this alignment, and it creates peace around the report. And yeah, so
yeah.
that's
I think that
that's
the one on the right is a little bit taller than the other, a couple of pixels
yeah.
taller than the other. Yeah.
But it's something you can really fix in 1 minute if you use a grid, or you have this check. When you imagine you have a checklist of, okay, I need to check that every button is working correctly, that everything is aligned, that follows a pattern, etc. It's something you don't spend a lot of time. You just need to remember and put it into practice, and it really helps to create this feeling of professionalism in what we do. Is just that. But again, congratulations, it's a great report. We are like going into the detail to try to help. So yeah.
no, no, it's. I think it's a good approach that we talk about these little small things,
But
because whenever
Paula,
I started off, it's
yeah,
one of the things that I wanted to hear. What's also kind of bad about the report, because what we see usually in social media, there's a lot of comments just no, no, everything looks great, but at the same time you're like, really, even I think certain things could be done differently about my report. So I want to know those nitty gritty things that people notice, because I might not just think about it. And that's very simple, because everybody thinks about certain things more prominently. Like, for example, for me, the main, I could still go ahead with the colors. I could go ahead with those, right? But the one thing for me is, why did you throw these away? For me, it feels like I built a donut chart, then I had a little bit of room. I don't want to kind of keep it
I'm gonna
empty,
put
so I'm
something
just
there.
gonna
Yeah.
throw some random KPIs there. If that's a part of KPI, I get it. You have the three primary things that allows you to filter it. Fine. I would still have a box right here. Even if these are secondary, I would split the box into two segments and have those KPIs all together, and then have everything else that comes visually. Because otherwise, like I said, it just feels to me that, well, I didn't know what to do with it, so I just, whatever I had at the hand, I just threw it in there. Because now it feels like it's filled.
And they are floating, like again,
Yeah,
on the order
Yeah.
organization, like
What
something
I'm doing here.
numbers.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
And I have to agree with Paula and that little more details. Even if you think it's picky, okay, because it's nothing, people will find it and it will tell you. So
oh yeah,
don't let them tell you. Correct yourself. Be better than they. It's that little small detail that make or break a report. Believe me, it's nothing. You can correct it by somebody telling you at work, oh, that is a little bit longer than this one. You feel bad. Believe me.
Yeah,
Okay, so remember to share. I do that with my wife. That she's tired of me and Power BI. Can you share the report? Everything is okay, and she actually find mistake, the spelling mistake. That is not the same distance on this one or the same size. Okay, ask for a second opinion always.
because trust me, when you have been looking at the same report for multiple hours, you don't notice things anymore. Everything just feels, it's gonna be fine. Let's just go ahead with
Everything.
it. It's all good.
20 changes. 20
Nah.
changes the day after. Yeah, 20 changes.
So,
Fantastic.
but yeah, congratulations to everyone who has gotten into the top five. It's a massive kudos to every single one of you. Congratulations also to everybody who actually managed to participate. And I want to just remind to everyone that participation is already part of the process. Because trust me, once you start to submit your report, it kind of tells you that, okay, I've done with this version, I can go to the next one. You can get the feedback, you can improve upon it, you have multiple iterations of the report. And that's what also happens in reality. If any one of you tells me that you built the report on the first try and it was just accepted without any comments, I don't believe you. It just never happens. There's always going to be comments. There's even a slightest one, but there's going to be changes. So be kind of accustomed to having the ability to change it and kind of be okay with changes. All right. I know we're running a bit out of time, but do we have any questions prior to announcing the winner?
Can we do the?
You want to announce it first?
No, no, you do it. You do. I do the drums.
You do the drums, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Alexander, can we
Now.
quickly hide the screen so I can find the right report? Don't want to make a fool out of myself by opening up the wrong one. There we go. So, yep, I got the right one. Wait, double checking. Yeah, I got the right one. Okay, I'm not a fool that yet. Give me a chance, but so the
Oh,
winner
is
is Agbara Dixon Apaloyo.
Avatar.
Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
It's a very strong participant. Have been with us for a long time now.
Oh, absolutely.
In this one on his data mining analytics, I know him for a couple of years now. Hey, I want you to go back 2 years ago and check his report and check the report Apata is producing now, and then you can do well done, sir. Congratulations and well done. But for me, all participants are winners. Remember that. All of you are winners.
Like fun fact about Agbada as well, for you those of you who haven't been for us for the whole journey, right? This is his 22nd submission.
Yeah.
So that's just showcasing you the commitment to getting here and getting that trophy.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mentioned it before. I got more than 60 entries in NoviPro. They are challenge entries, more than
Yeah,
60. 6-0. And I have won about 5 or 7 or
I mean
60.
it's
So don't worry about winning. At some point you will get it. But 60 entries, only 5. You say, well, that's quite down, Federico. Hey, the first time I won, I felt like Superman.
absolutely,
Okay, and I want the feeling we want to take to you. It's coming, it's coming. You got it. Congratulations.
absolutely. Like that's one of the things about I think participation is just taking away every single time something that you can improve upon. There's always something. Whether it's the navigation that you're building, whether it's the design. Well, if it's the design, look for some courses online, look for some inspirational design that you can just you because you don't one thing you have to remember, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? You just have to take a different approach on the same principle. So if you see a design that you just love, well, you can take that design, but make it your own because probably still
Yeah.
you want to adjust small things about it. You don't have to create
Any?
everything from scratch.
Do we
Yeah.
have any questions at the back somewhere? Any
Let's
questions?
see. Do we have any questions?
Somebody mentioned the 60-30-10 rule. Yes, that's what I was referring to. It's a design rule. You can check it out. There are plenty of YouTube on this 60. Yeah, correct. That's called 60. 60 is the background, 20, 30 is the primary color, and the 10 is what we call, I forgot the name. the red, the yellow, and the orange for
Hmm.
the KPI, the
Like
icons.
highlights, yeah, basically.
Okay, that what I mean. This 30, 30, 60. I got a potato mouth today. 60, 30, 60, 30, 10.
There we go. Just needed to switch the
Yeah.
language.
I
So
got a cacao mental. I spend my day talking Spanish at work, and then I switch to English. It's totally a cacao mental. There is no working good anymore. That's simple.
But just remember, you need to have like a main color that is not consuming your attention, and then place the right things in the right colors that bright enough to make it understandable. Is the key message of this rule. I mean,
yeah, don't start with a contrast color. No, 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 no. Start with something that feels okay.
and then you can
Yeah,
highlight. If you highlight everything, you are not highlighting anymore. So it's that.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it under my mind.
pick your background. Pick your background first.
All right, I think I saw a question. Yeah, from Solar. When we have a hierarchy in the data set, we can drill down the data to show in bar charts, but sometimes the bar chart width just looks too weird when we are on a high granular level. Do we have any good ways to handle it? Um, there are few different ways on how to handle it. One of them is just trying to construct a visual in a way that you don't end up with those situations where you just have a single bar. That's one of them. It's not always easy, but it's one thing you can think about. The other one is, for example, for our bar charts, there is a property called minimum unit height and initial unit height, which basically allows you to define what is going to be the size in pixels that you allow it to take. And by default, I don't remember what the value was, but basically by adjusting it, you can tell that, hey, I want all the bars, regardless of how many there are, they cannot go higher than, for example, 20 pixels, right? They're going to be fixed. And however many bars come in with 20 pixels, that's how many you're going to be seeing there. I think by default it's set to something like auto, so it's just trying to adjust based on the space and the size of the visual and everything.
Solar, you need to understand that the bars are fighting for a space in that
Yeah.
object. Okay, so you have three. You can actually go to Power BI and change the separation between and make a special size. But as soon as you drill down and the space change, now you have five, that is gonna change. It's gonna be smaller. It's only got two, it's gonna get bigger. So it's not gonna convert, it's not gonna keep okay the same size. Okay? So remember they are fighting for a space in this square where you put the visual. That is why you have a hierarchical. Okay, when you go down, you're gonna see a changes in the size and width, okay, of the chart, of the bars.
Okay. Anything else? Quick question. Say I have visual a category with 10 categories. Once we reduce the size of the chart in ZoomCharts, it automatically reduces its size to like 5. It's very tricky because you could theoretically do it. I understand why this could be done, but the tricky part about this is that not only the size of the container of the visual can define how many categories actually fall into it, but also what scaling model you're using. Because for Power BI Desktop, you also have few different options on how you can set the view. It can be fit to page, where it's always going to be just following the page. It can be actual size, and I think it can be fit to size or something like that. I don't remember the third option. That plus the size of the monitor, plus the scale on the desktop itself, there's a lot of calculations that needed to be taken into account.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
however much
something
you
that
would, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
that's something that people doesn't know, or the behind of a charge.
Yeah,
Okay, you
it
learn a
seems
little bit
simple,
by
but
experience, by understanding, no, but there is quite a lot of behind the code for that to work the way you want. It's not that simple. One thing that I wanted to say, we FP20 Analytics, we will announce our winners after the webinar. So we have another six winners on our side, three chosen by Paula in the English category and three chosen by me in the Hispano-parlante community. That's it. Time to go.
all right. Anyone else? No? All good? What makes this report
Thank
stand
you.
out? This one?
Mm.
I think for me, the overall sort of approach to this. right? So the report itself is clean. It's not overwhelming. The colors that he chose, for example, for the legends, is what Federico mentioned. That sure they are different, but the reasoning behind it is also understandable. He's using one dimension in these three charts. He's using a
and
different
a
dimension
different
here,
dimension.
right? So there is logic behind the report itself. What we also do take into account is, for example, the progression on how people have advanced through their visuals and their sort of journey through the challenges. So that's also taken into account. But
Yes,
overall, I just think it's very clean, it's simple, and it allows you to explore the data in a simple manner. Sure, there are a few bits and pieces, but every single report has something to improve upon.
something that I learned during my challenging time is that we judges sometimes have a very difficult task. Okay,
Yeah,
because what I believe to be nice, you might not believe to be nice. Okay, at the end of the day, I have to make a decision, and you put a couple of things into the bucket. Actually, I'm making my decision not only on this, but also on another factors. Okay, so whatever decision we take is based on what Avi mentioned and the report, and it might be very different to what you think or what Paula would have chosen. You will see Paula uh, picked in the English category or my picking, okay, on the Spanish category. It's just a matter for you guys to understand that we have a very difficult task. Paula went through 50 or 60 reports, okay, to pick three. Think about that 60 report and she need to pick three.
Yeah,
It's not simple.
and to me, for example, they are like minimum that really key aspects in reports, and it's one of them is ordering the layer, the overall structure of the report, and this one represents that. And for example, everything is legible here in this report. The others has minimum adjustments. So, I mean, every one of us starts from a single point. When I need to like review the 50, I don't know, there were a lot. I started like removing things that I
Yeah.
won't allow, because you need to start from one decision, like okay, I focus on the hierarchy in how you navigate, or in the more aesthetical aspects, so how you filter until you really analyze and you go deeper and identify the winner. So it's hard. Trust me. I hope they invite you so you understand what it is.
So time to say goodbye, guys. Paula, thank you. Thank you
yeah.
very much
First of
Thank
all,
you.
for
thanks Paula
taking
for
my
joining.
invitation. It is an honor to have you between us. And
Pleasure is mine.
I hope that in the future you will say, Federico, where are you inviting me back? Okay, to the webinar. And thank you. I really, really appreciate it. You need anything from my side, please, you know where I am in LinkedIn. Okay, message me. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, and yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here.
And for the rest of you, thank you as well for spending the time here. Thank you for participating, and congratulations to every single one of you. Thanks for
Thank you,
attending,
guys.
and I'll see you in the next
Bye.
challenge. Bye, everyone.
Bye.